Hi and welcome to a short 30-minute practice. This is more of a beginner style of practice. We'll be introducing some salutation C's, doing some standing poses, some floor work, and then relaxing in Shavasana. It's a great practice if you've never done any yoga before or only done a little bit. It's a great introduction. However, if you have practiced yoga before, it's always great to revisit some of the quintessential yoga poses. So I hope you'll enjoy it. We're going to start off in child's pose, so sitting with our feet on our bum. You can keep the knees together or the knees wide, it's entirely your preference. And we're going to reach the arms forward, forehead on the floor. If you struggle to get the forehead on the floor, you can always use a yoga block, a DVD box set or a book box set, or even a decent sized hardback book, and just rest it under your forehead. If you're struggling to get your bottom on your heels, again you can slide the block on its side or a book on its side and rest on that with your bottom. Bringing the attention inwards, resting all your awareness on your breath, wherever you notice your breath most naturally. For some people that's as they breathe in and out of their nose. Others notice it in the rise and fall of their chest, or the rise and fall of the belly. In child's pose you may notice the breath moving into the belly and the belly touching the thighs, or you may become more aware of it in your back and your ribs. That's very normal in child's pose. Hopefully you've noticed your breath has started to slow down already, becoming smoother and deeper. And it's these smoother, deeper breaths we want to try and maintain throughout the practice today. If at any point you need to take a break, come back to child's pose. And then we're going to transition into the warm-up, coming up onto all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we're going to extend the right leg out behind us, coming to rest on the toes, activating the hamstrings and the calf. Breathing nice and smoothly. And then we're going to step the right foot up to the top of the mat by the right hand. And you can take your hand and direct your foot to the top of the mat if you wish. Coming up onto your fingertips, opening up through the front of the body as you gaze forward in the low lunge. So taking your back knee as far away from you as you can to get a decent stretch through that hip flexor. Also stretching through the outer hip of the front leg. Low lunge. Just watch the shoulders haven't crept up by the ears. Create that space between the shoulders and the ears. Yoga is all about creating space in the body to create space in the mind. Taking the arms overhead as you breathe in, coming into the low lunge crescent. Reaching up through the waist, along through the arms and out through the fingertips. Again, being mindful of those shoulders creeping up by the ears. And if you want to take it up to the next level, you can curl the back toes under, coming up into a high lunge, lifting the back knee off the floor. Crescent pose. Just work within your limits, guys. Honour your body. If you are in the high lunge, gently lowering that back knee. Opposite hand to knee, opposite hand to buttock as you turn your gaze to follow the line of your shoulder in a twisting lunge. Coming back to the breath. Nice smooth breaths throughout. Coming back onto all fours. Taking the left foot out behind you, pressing through the heel. Activating and stretching through the hamstring and the calf. Breathing nice and smoothly. Taking that left foot up by the left hand, and you can guide it up with the hand if you wish. Coming into a low lunge, gazing forwards, shoulders released away from the ears. Breathing nice and smoothly. then taking the arms overhead in the low lunge crescent. If you want to, you can curl the back toes under, coming up into the high lunge, lifting the knee off the floor. Gazing at a spot in front of you. In yoga we call it a dristi, to help you with your balance. And then lowering the back knee and the back foot, opposite hand to knee as you turn to look in line with your shoulder, isolating the twist through the torso. Breathing nice and smoothly. Placing both hands on the floor, stepping back into plank. Strengthening the core with plank, igniting the inner fire. Pressing through the heels. Gentle slope upwards to the nape of your neck from your heels. Breathing nice and smoothly. And then lowering the knees, lower the chest between the hands as you exhale, scooping forward, low cobra, inhale. Opening up through the heart center, watching those shoulders don't creep up by the ears again. Releasing the shoulders by bending the elbows, keeping the elbows skimming the ribs. Lifting from the belly, gentle back bend, low cobra. And then curling the toes under, coming into downward dog. And walking your dog. Alternate heels towards the floor. Activating the glutes, the hamstrings and the calves. Also a great pose for stretching through the lower back. Bringing both heels towards the floor, connecting to your palms. Nice length through the arms. Elbow creases looking at one another. Triceps looking at the floor. The back of your neck is nice and relaxed. The gaze is soft between your feet. Your shoulder blades are moving up the back towards the bum. Bum up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending where you're doing this. If you're outside like me, nice line of energy down the legs to the heels, tucked behind the ankles, downward dog. One more nice smooth breath here. And then walking the feet up towards the hands, coming into a forward fold. Tiny bend in the legs, taking hold of the elbows. And you can shift the weight from foot to foot, gently rocking from side to side if you wish. And then releasing the hands and gently rolling up. One vertebra at a time. Rotating the shoulders to the back. Easing out any tightness and tension in the shoulders and then forwards. Bringing the hands to heart center in Tadasana, mountain pose. Soft gaze on the fingertips, connecting to the soles of your feet and the earth beneath your feet. And then when you're ready, breathing in, reaching all the way up. Breathing out, forward fold. Stepping back with the right leg. Knee to the floor, foot to the floor, gazing forward as you breathe in, low lunge. Placing both hands flat on the floor as you step back into plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest between the hands as you exhale, inhale, low cobra. Curling the toes under, coming into downward dog as you breathe out. Breathing in, taking the right leg up to the ceiling, pressing through the heel, toes facing towards the floor. Breathe out, taking that foot to the top of the mat. And you can always guide it up with your hands if you wish. Gazing forwards as you breathe in. Bringing the left foot up to join the right in a forward fold as you breathe out. Breathe in, let the breath take you all the way up. Closing the pose as you breathe out. And again, leading with the left leg. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, forward fold. Stepping back with the left leg. Gazing forwards as you breathe in. Hands flat on the floor, stepping back into plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest between the hands as you exhale, inhale, low cobra. Curling the toes under, coming into downward dog as you breathe out. Breathe in, taking the left leg up to the ceiling, three-legged dog, pressing through the heel, toes facing towards the floor. Breathe out, taking that foot to the top of the mat, or guiding it up with your fingers, with your hands. Gazing forwards, low lunge as you breathe in. Bringing the right foot up to join the left in a forward fold as you breathe out. Breathing in, let the breath take you all the way up. Bringing the hands back to heart center as you breathe out. We're going to do it all again. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, forward fold. Stepping back with the right leg. Gazing forwards as you breathe in. Hands flat on the floor, stepping back into plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest between the hands. Exhale, inhale, low cobra. Curling the toes under, coming into downward dog as you breathe out. Breathe in, taking the right leg up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. Breathe out, take that foot to the top of the mat. Gazing forward in the low lunge as you breathe in. Bringing the left foot up to join the right in a forward fold as you breathe out. Breathing in, let the breath take you all the way up. Closing the pose as you breathe out. Last time, leading with the left leg. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, forward fold. Stepping back with the left leg. Gazing forwards as you breathe in, low lunge. Hands flat on the floor, stepping back into plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest between the hands as you exhale, inhale, low cobra. Curling the toes under, coming into downward dog as you breathe out. Breathe in, taking the left leg up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. Breathe out, taking that foot to the top of the mat. Gazing forwards as you breathe in. And bringing the right leg up to meet the left in a forward fold as you breathe out. Breathing in, let the breath take you all the way up. Coming back to Tadasana as you breathe out. Soft gaze on the fingertips, just taking a nice smooth breath. So hopefully you're feeling nice and warm. You've worked every part of your body doing the sun salutations. We're now going to do some standing poses. So starting in Tadasana, hands at heart center. We're going to take a nice wide stance. This leg is going to face 90 degrees forward. We're going to turn this foot 45 degrees with the heel turned away. Tracking the middle of the front heel to the middle of the black arch, called heel to arch alignment. Raising the arms as we breathe in, gazing over the middle finger. And as you breathe out, bending that front leg, coming into warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Breathing nice and smoothly. It's all about strengthening the legs. Try to stay through the midline, belly above the pelvis, heart above the belly, head above the heart. And then taking the elbow to the thigh, arm overhead, in extended side angle pose, pressing through the outer edge of that back foot, or following that energy all the way up to the fingertips, lifting through both sides of the waist. So we're not collapsing into it, but we're holding steady through both sides of the waist. Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. Windmilling back to warrior two, straightening that front leg, turning both toes inwards, heels turning out, hands on the hips. As you breathe in, lifting up through the sternum. Breathing out, coming down, hands beneath the feet, underneath the shoulders, bringing the crown of the head towards the mat in PPA. You'll feel a good stretch through the inner thighs and through the hamstrings. If you're really tight in your hamstrings, you can always take a tiny bend in the knees. Also cooling and calming the mind in this pose. Two more smooth breaths here. Bringing the hands back to your waist. Breathing in, coming up with a flat back, using your belly to do the work. And we're going to do it all to the other side. So this leg, the foot is going to face 90 degrees. We're going to turn the back foot away on a 45-degree angle. Toes heading towards the top of the mat, heel heading towards the back of the mat. Raising the arms as you breathe in. Gazing over your middle finger, using that as your drishti. And as you breathe out, bending the leg. Trying to keep the knee stacked above the ankle, thigh parallel with the floor. The middle of the knee tracks to the middle of the second toe, tracking through the midline, so not leaning forwards or back, staying center. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. All about channeling your inner warrior. Strength, determination, self-assurance, self-confidence. Lowering the elbow to the thigh, arm overhead in Parsvakonasana. Extended side angle pose. Breathing nice and smoothly. Windmilling back to Warrior 2. Straightening the legs, heel toeing the feet back together, coming back to Tadasana mountain pose. So we're going to finish the standing poses with tree pose, that quintessential yoga pose. I'm surrounded by lovely trees here where I'm recording this today. You can probably hear the wind rustling through the leaves. So we're going to shift the weight to the right foot by gently resting the left heel against the right ankle. Just getting used to shifting the weight to one foot. You can imagine there are roots growing out of your feet into the earth to help you stay grounded. Remember, trees wobble in the wind, but they don't fall over, and that's thanks to their roots. We're going to move the foot to the calf, and that may be enough for you today. If you want to take the foot to the inner thigh, by all means do so. Just be mindful the foot is not resting on the knee. Breathing in, taking the arms overhead. Breathing out, stretching the arms wide like the branches of a tree. Allow yourself a little smile. You're allowed to enjoy yourself in yoga. It's not all serious stuff. And notice where you feel that smile, not just on your face, but where else do you notice it in your body? Bringing the hands back to heart center. Placing both feet on the floor, coming back to Tadasana. Nice smooth breath. And shifting the weight to the left foot. Gently resting the right heel on the right ankle. Sliding that foot to the calf. And you can help your balance by resting your gaze on a drishti, so a spot in front of you that isn't moving. It can help you with your balance. This pose is all about balance and poise, clarity and focus. Really hard to balance if we're thinking about something else. If you wish, bring that foot to the inner thigh. Hands at heart center. As you breathe in, taking the arms wide overhead like the branches of a tree. And then bringing the hands back to center, both feet on the floor. So we're going to come down onto the floor doing yoga squat. So taking the feet a little bit wider than hip distance. We're going to come up onto our tiptoes as we breathe in, taking the arms overhead. As we breathe out, bringing the hands through center, lowering the heels to the floor, bringing the elbows to the inside of the thighs, coming into yoga squat. This is quite an intense pose. Opening up through the inner thighs, the outer hips and the lower back. Very grounding pose. Don't worry if your heels aren't on the floor. Trust me, it won't take long before they are. And then gently bringing the bottom to rest on the floor and bringing the soles of the feet together. We're going to take our 2 peace fingers, wrapping them around the big toe. Breathe in, lifting up through the sternum. Breathe out, rolling down over the legs, first with a flat back and then curling into it, allowing the knees to gently grace the floor. Breathing nice and smoothly. Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose or shoemaker's pose. Breathing nice and smoothly throughout. As this pose opens up through the inner thighs, through the outer hip. And it's a great pose for counteracting any sciatic niggles that you may get. And gently rolling up. And then we're going to come round onto our side. Legs extended in front, taking the arms overhead as you breathe in. As you breathe out, coming down anywhere along the legs that feels comfortable. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So you can take hold of the calves, the ankles or the feet depending on your flexibility. You could also use a strap or a tie or a scarf around the ball of your feet, holding onto the scarf or the tie or the strap. If you're super tight in the hamstrings, remembering a tiny bend in the knees to protect them. But you'll feel that stretch up the hamstrings. We're also helping digestion by massaging the internal organs in the forward fold. And of course we're lengthening through the spine and out through the crown of the head, which helps improve the energy to the nerves along the spine. 2 more nice smooth breaths here. Releasing the feet, gently taking the arms overhead as you breathe in, bringing the hands down either side as you breathe out. Bending the legs, shifting the bottom a bit closer to the heels, extending the arms out in front. You simply lower down 1 vertebra at a time, engaging the core, just to get you onto your back. Hands either side of the bottom, palms facing down, feet are about hip distance apart. As you breathe in, you're going to guide your hips up towards the ceiling or the sky, keeping the knees at 90 degrees, the thighs and the knees parallel, so don't let them flop out to the side. Bridge pose, Seti Baddha. Opening up through the hip flexors, opening up through the lower back with a gentle back bend, and opening up through the front of the body as we balance the weight evenly across the shoulders. Try and lift with the thighs and the hamstrings rather than with the butt. If we squeeze with the butt, it tends to pinch the lower back, so just try and let go of the butt and let the hamstrings and the thighs do all the work. Breathing nice and smoothly. And then on the next exhalation, gently lowering the hips to the floor and hugging your knees into your chest, counterposing the back bend, gently rocking from side to side, massaging the spine and the floor. And when you hug your knees to your chest, you release the feel-good hormone, oxytocin, into the blood. Releasing the knees, taking the feet up towards the ceiling, legs bent. Using the peace fingers and the thumb around the big toes, elbows on the inside of the knees for happy baby, extending out through the sitting bone, up through the crown of the head so the whole of the back is resting on the floor. Really simple inversion to end the practice. Inversions are excellent for every system in the body, encouraging the lymph system to drain more effectively, balancing the hormones and the nervous system, and challenging our circulatory system and our respiratory system in a very effective but very gentle way. Two more nice smooth breaths here in happy baby, Anand Malasana. Releasing the feet, bringing the knees and the feet together, arms extended at shoulder height. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, lower the knees down to the right hand side, turning the head to the left in a simple twist. Restoring equilibrium in the spine, just allowing your body to melt into the floor. This is the last pose before we do Shavasana. Bringing the knees through center as you breathe in. As you breathe out, taking the knees down to the other side, turning your head in the opposite direction. Bringing the knees through center as you breathe in, extending the legs into the floor as you breathe out, taking the feet slightly wider than hip distance. Palms either side of the hips facing up towards the ceiling, closing down your eyes and allowing your breathing to return to normal. So we're going to go into Shavasana now, which is the conscious relaxation part of the class. It's actually the most important part of our practice. It's when we allow our bodies to absorb the benefits of our practice by becoming still and silent. So relaxing your feet and your ankles. Relax your shins and your calves. Relax your kneecaps and the backs of your knees. Relax your thighs and your hamstrings. Relax your hips, pelvis and buttocks. Relax your belly and your lower back. Relax your ribs and your torso. Relax the chest and the upper back. Relax your shoulders, arms and hands. Relax your mouth, tongue and jaw. Relax the space between your eyes and around your eyes. Relax your forehead and the crown of your head. Gently guiding your awareness back to the room and to your breath. Bringing some movement back to your body by wriggling your fingers and your toes. And if you'd like to stretch, take your arms along the floor, stretching your hands in the opposite direction to your feet. When you're ready, roll over and take a couple of breaths of transition. And then remembering your nervous system is really calm and relaxed now. So try not to move quickly or sharply. Using your hands to guide you, keeping your eyes closed and your head hung low. Gently guide yourself back into a comfortable seated position. Bringing the hands to heart center. May the light that shines within me honour the light that shines within you. Namaste.